Hey, what's up everybody? It's Roy here. As you go through these photos, panoramic photos and things of that nature, I'd like to tell you that Brandon Smart, Pete Thermos, Aaron Barlow, Jen Wilbur, and I, we all went to the supply school and basically preloaded a mountain exercise, right, with a topic of agile leadership. Right, we preloaded everything, went ahead and filled in everything, clustered it up, as you can see right here, threw them into a pick chart to determine what is accomplishable, what can we do right now, so we could determine and build on our backlog. So it's pretty awesome. This video by Brandon, we grabbed 2 staff NCOs, 2 Marines, and Brandon kind of went down and dirty with them of the basics, fundamentals of agile processes and innovation. Without further ado, enjoy the video.
Class that I'm going to give you right now in 5 minutes normally takes 5 days. We do 5 days of training in all of this. This right here is a portion of our design thinking class. It's the entire mountain and it's pre-built so that way we can talk to it. What normally happens is we give you a subject, right? Like it's whatever it is. That could be like quality of life for the Marines living in the barracks. It can be as high as like Headquarters Marine Corps policy. It could be the CPG's guidance on talent management. Whatever the subject is, we're going to get you as the subject matter experts into a room to talk about it, and maybe some outliers too that don't know as much. And we'll start with the status quo. Normally this line is the only thing that's on the board at the beginning, so that way you don't get overly concerned with the rest of it. We say, what are we doing right now in that area and why isn't it working? And as a collective, you two and then the rest of the people in the room are going to put everything up on here in like clear thoughts, right, up on the board. The unique thing about this, in order to make this very effective, is you both would be in civilian attire. At minimum, you'd be de-blouse, but most of the time we teach it in civilian attire, so that way no one's judging who is putting stuff on the board. You don't know if somebody's a lieutenant, a private, a general. I mean, they look old, right? But the majority of us, we don't know who we are. So we put things up on the board, and we're silent. The only time you speak during this is when you put something up on the board. So if I put it here, I'm like, sweatshop mentality. I face the group, I say it, and I walk. And then you're gonna have some stickies, and you're gonna have some stickies, and you're gonna put some stuff up here. These things just aren't meeting the mark, right? This is what we're doing, and we're not getting better. The next part is I'm going to, after the time elapses on this, we're going to put these lines up here and we're going to explain that this is Utopia. We're going to say, like, in the Marine Corps, in order to get to whatever our topic is, what is the perfect world? If you were God, if you had $1 billion, if every single person on the planet owed you a favor that they had to pay up on and actually had to pay up on it, because a lot of favors are owed to me, what would it look like? And it could be like a completely flat organization. What if everybody in the Marine Corps made the exact same amount of money? What if the distribution was fair, but everybody came to work and did the amount of work that was worth that type of money? What if your Marines never got in trouble? We're talking about perfect, right? And this is why it's Utopia, the perfect world. After a certain amount of time elapses on that, and we're using the same process, right? That's that quiet, put a sticky up, say it, we're going to go into what we call the climb. And that's essentially, how do you get from status quo to Utopia? There's a process, right? I'm never going to be perfect, but I might be great if I seek perfection. Like, let's seek perfection and get to greatness. This is that climb. How do we get there? So what we've done is we've pre-made this board. We're talking about agile leadership. And the things that are on here talk about a lot of different things that are agile leadership. We have a couple of them that are in green because we've kind of baited this board a little bit, because after you create this, and it's normally a lot larger, when we have these with large audiences, there's 50 to 100 stickies inside here after doing this for 10 minutes with 20 people that are involved. And we take this and we move it out, and this is called divergent thinking, and then we move it out into something called convergent thinking. And convergent thinking is simply a collective of all of us thinking separately, but coming to a consensus. Hey, everybody together, we're going to swarm this board. We're going to take everything out of the middle, and we're going to categorize them. Oh, that thing, Zoom, Slack, Wi-Fi. Those are all kind of like technology enhancements that enable remote work, right? Decentralized teamwork. We have some evaluating current policies and standards, and then we have like things that fell under NCOPME, things that could be enhanced in there. So we've done a bit of, obviously I said we stacked the deck. made our cards green. It normally doesn't happen like this, but since we're just explaining it to you, we put them here. After we've categorized, we realize they kind of have a theme. So then we name them. We put these topics up here, and we give names to them. And after they get names, we take those topics, and we put them over here on the board. And what normally happens is all these would be on the side over here, and this line wouldn't be here, right? Jen, can you help me with this really quick? Because there's two of them. So I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to put all these up here, and I'm going to ask you to vote on impact. Not how hard something is, come closer, but how, I like closeness. You got to be like within like punch me distance if I say something offensive. This is an impact line. This is high, thumbs up is high, thumbs down is low. All right, since we're still keeping quiet and we're doing this silently so that way we get anonymous and consensus is the idea. We're going to vote on whether this thing has a higher impact or a lower impact than the thing up below. It has nothing to do with how hard it is. Everything to do with the end state impact. So remote work technology, does it have a higher impact or a lower impact than current standards and policies? Thumbs up if it has a higher impact, thumbs down if it has a lower impact. And I'll move it on the x-axis.
Let's say low.
Don't talk. This is just thumbs up, thumbs down, bro. So you both say lower. All right. All right. Decentralized teamwork, meaning like the ability to freaking, you know what decentralized leadership is, right? So we do this in already in the country. Why don't we do it here? Higher impact or lower impact than evaluating current standards and policy? 1, 2, 3. Vote. Gut. Don't overthink it. It's gut feelings. All right. All right, we'll start in the middle. Evaluate current policies and standards or NCO PME enhancement. Higher impact or lower impact. All right, decentralized teamwork. Higher impact or lower impact. 1, 2, 3. Boom. All right, so you have it like this. I'm going to spread these out like this. And then I'm going to put another line really quick up on the board. And this is your feasibility line, right? How hard is it to do this job? Mind you, I normally just tape this, but I'm trying to save this board, so it's looking a little bit ragtag. Can you hold that for me? Thank you. This is feasibility. Thumbs up, it's really easy, up at the top. Thumbs down, it's really hard. All right, so we're gonna evaluate them based on how easy or hard they are. Thumbs up, evaluate current standards or policy. Is it easier or harder than remote work technology? Then like, yeah, accessing and enabling remote work technology. Easier than or harder than? Easier? Gut instincts are really important. All right, decentralized teamwork. Is it easier or harder than remote work technology? All right, a little bit harder. Enhancing NCO PME. Is it easier or harder than remote work technology? Is it easier or harder than evaluating all the current standards and policies? All right, so this is what we got right here. Okay? And what this is called is a pick chart. And what you have is, and I'm not going to draw on it, I'm saving myself again, is this is possible for P, implement for I, challenging for C, and kill for K, right? And what you have is you can kind of see that there's a little bit of disparity of how they all interact with the box. And these ones happen to fit nicely. You guys voted in a way that it just landed. This one is not only has a really the highest impact of all of them, but it also is the highest feasibility. So what we would do is we would immediately take action on that. That's like low-hanging fruit, right? Easy to do, highest impact. All right, winner, winner. We're gonna move this one over immediately. And we're probably gonna get to these things too, because they're important, but this one is immediate. You're gonna take this one and you're gonna make it actionable. This is a Scrum board. Anybody you guys heard of Scrum before?
We do it here.
You do it here, right? Okay, so you just started, do you work here?
We do it.
You guys are staff.
Yes.
Oh shoot, I thought you were in an advanced course. This is perfect.
No.
So you know what this looks like. Even better. But have you done this stuff?
Yeah.
So I'm explaining, preaching to the choir at this point. All right. Well then you have, you take this, you make it actionable, you move it to your backlog. I'm gonna treat you guys as the first time anyways. And then you get after it. And you can slice it, right? You can tear it down, you can make it more. What we like to say is that this thing is a loop, right? So you have the mountain here, which is the first thing that we did. We have, which is divergent thinking. We have convergent thinking, and then we have our pick chart. And at any time, you can take any tasks out of there, you can take anything you want, and action inside this, into your backlog, right? You can move it into the backlog and start getting after it. But NCOPME enhancement is pretty big. So what I would like to do is I'd like to run that thing back, because this is a cycle, and get it back as the subject to the mountain. And then slice it out. What does that actually look like? What are we currently doing at NC? What are we currently doing? Maybe it doesn't need to get done. What would be a perfect environment for NCOPME? And then what would be, how do we get there? And we run that one more time. And then I think by the end of that, you have some categories and things on your pick chart that would really fall into here and would be actionable immediately. It'd be like, do this. You know what I mean? Rather than NCOPME enhancement, you have like a specific task. Add to the to-do. You guys know what this is. It's this is our sprint backlog and then our backlog, and we would run this the same way that we would run Scrum. At this point, I would just start discussing what Scrum looks like. Is that the fastest version of this training that you've ever heard?
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure.